Right, so Alex, here we are. Weekend, we saw Manchester City victorious in the derby against you boys. Obviously, you were quite angry on stream and quite emotive. How are your thoughts now, mate? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's changed to be honest. I'm still quite shocked at there is still some blind witnesses out
Yeah,
there, even in the mainstream media as well, and people are not seeing this for exactly what it is by Ruben Amorim. And I'm going to be obviously a lot calmer tonight. So obviously, if you watch the watch along, I won't be hitting blood pressure levels like that, or at least I hope not. However, I do think it's important to get straight into the main issue behind this United team. It's not mentality. They're not down in tools. This manager is sending them out in a system that they cannot play because of their attributes. They are trying,
yeah.
I think, their best generally. Some of them you can argue are not good in any position. However, they're definitely not good in the positions this guy puts them in. Let's talk about Sunday specifically. And we'll reference a few other games as well. But let's talk about Sunday. Because off the ball, United did okay. We got some turnovers off Rodri in particular, off Reinders. We pressed quite well. The defence had to go long, had more possession than Man City. Incredible statistic. I don't think many people would have thought that before the weekend. Now, what was the problem, right? Okay, the problem is we've got players out of position. Players out of position are costing us in their individual battles. Let's start with Luke Shaw, who was possibly at fault for definitely two, maybe all three goals. The first one, he's on an island with Jeremy Doku, who has wandered into the number 10 position because he thought, why not? Maybe Pep Guardiola identified that. We spoke about it. Five at the back and two players that want to press Rodri equals
Yeah,
a
exactly
massive
what we said.
space. Exactly. Jeremy Doku wanders into a space. He's got Luke Shaw on an island. Shaw gets in an awful position defensively. However, Shaw's a left back. Shaw's like, where's my touchline? You know, anybody that's played football, I remember the first guy that I played football for. He was he said, if you're ever playing right back or left back, the touchline's another defender. Professional players. Luke Shaw's played left back all his career, and he's 12 years into his career now, 13 years, and you want to stick him now at basically centre back against a tricky winger with severe pace, and he's now not got his touchline. Jeremy Doku skips past Shaw, gets his cross blocked, comes straight back to him, and what happens? Phil Foden finds himself on an absolute island on the penalty spot to head into basically an empty net. Now, who was picking up Phil Foden as the possession began to unravel? It was Bruno Fernandes. So we've done the first one. Luke Shaw out of position, gets caught on an island, can't do anything about it. Bruno Fernandes not tracking his man. Phil Foden free header 1-0, already behind the 8 ball. We can't score goals as it is. What happened at Fulham? Same thing happened. Bruno Fernandes gets caught not tracking his man. Bruno Fernandes is not a centre midfielder. You know the thing with Bruno Fernandes, Christian? When he was a number 10, people thought he was reckless.
Yeah.
People actually said, Jesus, Bruno needs to calm it down as a number 10 with McTominay and Fred
Now he's
behind him.
having more being put on his shoulders in a position he's not familiar with.
And people are going, and I listened a little bit to the Rio Ferdinand podcast. Obviously, not all of it because my IQ was reducing as I was listening to it. And Stephen Howson, obviously, he's on the Stretford Paddock. He's on Rio stuff as well. He said at half time, the Sky Sport pundits were annoyed him because they said Manchester City have exposed Man United's system. Okay, bit of a general comment, bit of a vague comment, you might say. However, that goal exposed the system perfectly. So did the Fulham goal. Every single goal United concede is exposing the system, really, because they can't defend in this system. Do you know what I mean? So,
Alex, go on, sorry.
I just don't get how Stephen Howson can sit there and go, that first goal on Sunday was not because of the system, it was because of individual errors. No, the individual errors are happening because these players are out of position. Luke Shaw could not stop Doku because he's playing at centre-back, not left-back. Bruno Fernandes didn't track Foden, not because he's lazy, because he's not a holding midfielder and he doesn't track people. It's not his game, it never will be. So the goal was a perfect example of the 3-4-3 failing. And also, it's not just 3-4-3, it's who he's putting in these positions. Kobbie Mainoo might attract Foden. He might not have done. I'm not saying he's not, again, he's not a holding midfielder either. But Casemiro Ugarte, I think Casemiro might have been near Foden. So it's not just the system, it's also the system, the players he's putting in the system. I mean, what do you think? Obviously, you've seen the comments from on the Rio Ferdinand. How is this not system related?
I mean, the sole reason Jeremy Doku is in that position to begin with is system related. And we called this before it happened. I specifically said to you, Alex, the one area, I actually used Phil Foden as the example and Tajani Reinders. And I said the area that you're going to struggle, and this is why I would have gone Foden, as in who we predicted to start the game, is because of that space, because of that exact situation. And really, if I'm picking between who I'd want in that area, would I really have wanted Jeremy Doku? No, I'd have wanted Phil Foden, because he's better. But as it happens, he was squaring up Luke Shaw, like you said. Luke Shaw, look, I find myself not wanting to hammer him because, like you said, for the same reasons, he's playing out of position. He has had a ridiculous amount of injuries. We know what this guy is, and you're asking too much of him. Now, Doku does have one trick in his arsenal, and that's what he brought out. But like you made a good point, if he'd have done that in his natural position against Luke Shaw, it would have been a relatively safe situation. Doku would have had to have dug out a cross from the byline from a tight angle, and we know Doku can't really cross. So, if you're looking for someone to blame, I would not be looking at the players or individual errors. I would be looking at the manager who has put them in these positions as to the reason for these errors. They can't defend in this situation, Alex. He's not setting them up. He's not giving them a chance. You made a great point. You said some of these players aren't even good enough in their actual positions. Yeah. So is there a need for a bigger disadvantage? Do you know what I mean? Is there a need to give City even more of a head start? You're telling me you're not confident even if they're playing in their best ideal role. It's a mad one. And some of the, I've been seeing online, I haven't gone around and watched all Manchester United content, but I've seen a fair bit. And the consensus among United fans, or among a certain few United fans, seems to be trying to protect Amorim and going down the usual route of, players move on and they always look better elsewhere. They're not making any effort. And I couldn't disagree more, and I couldn't agree with you more, because we called it on stream. This is not about an effort problem. You are asking something of players, and they physically can't do it.
Yeah, you're so right, Christian. I mean, the defensive side of things, they can't defend. I mean, I don't know if you saw Bruno's post-game interview. I actually thought the questions asked by, I think it was, he works for Sky Sports, were fantastic. They were really insightful. And he asked him specifics on the first goal, particularly the tracking, the failure to defend it. You've got 6 players in the box and Phil Foden gets a free header. And Bruno went into it, and honestly, he spoke for about 45 seconds, and I was confused at the end of it. How these players, it was something about, he thought Yoro was going to step up, Yoro didn't. Shaw got beat, I switched off. It was like basically Bruno was looking at 4 or 5 players and none of them know what they're doing. That's exactly what it is. Because we can't defend. We play more defenders every single week. We play 5 usually, which again, it was 5 on Sunday. Can we stop this 3-4-3? It's 5-2-3. That's the formation. Ruben Amorim plays 5 at the back. Can we pack this 3-4-3 in? And just to give myself a break from saying it, I'm sick of it. But let's flip. We've done that. We know the defence is shit, right? Let's flip to the offence. And this does include 2 defenders that I'm going to talk about here. Anybody that watched the post-game or watched the watch-along with us knows where I'm going to go with this. And I've also got a fantastic tweet from a United fan channel that I'm going to share with you in a minute. And it's brilliant because it's just, the irony is so funny. So basically, United offensively were poor on Sunday. We had great situations. We had great transitional moments. And who was the spare guys every single attack? Mainly Mr. Patrick Dorgu, who is a 20-year-old left-back who hasn't played a full year in the Prem. The whole offence seems to be going through Patrick Dorgu. We have got a very good creative number 10 in the team, in the starting 11, and Patrick Dorgu is spending more time offensively than Bruno Fernandes. And you want to know who's second on the always free and gets possessions through him? Mazraoui, who's basically Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Anybody remember Wan-Bissaka? He couldn't really cross the halfway line because he looked lost, but decent defensively. Now, Ruben Amorim's system relies on Patrick Dorgu turning into Ryan Giggs. This system is fundamentally fucked. It's shit. I cannot speak about it. I flipped out on stream on the weekend because that it was one cross too many. Patrick Dorgu can't cross, he can't shoot, and every single spare man is Patrick Dorgu. And I feel for the kid a little bit because he's a left back. If Patrice Evra was there, I imagine he'd be ballsing up a load of crosses. If Dennis Irwin was there, he'd be ballsing up a decent fair share of crosses. If fullbacks give you something offensively, it's deemed a bonus, other than freaks like Cancelo, who are obviously basically wingers anyway. Your normal fullbacks, if we get a good cross out of him, it's a bonus, right?
Yeah, Alex, you said it perfect. I couldn't agree with you more, because what you said, and I think most people would agree with. Now, if you're playing a football match, who do you want on the ball the most? Who is going to hurt the opponent the most? So you would go, probably our number 10s, probably our wingers. Now, in Man United's system, in Amorim's system, what you're finding is players who are not comfortable in that area and don't even want the ball offensively. They're the ones that have all the free space and most of the ball and most of the opportunities to do something. Now, if you're looking at this, I said it, bro. We made a short, and a lot of people did actually agree with it. So shout out the United fans that we had a few people sub off it. You have got players like Mbuemo. You're going to have Cunha coming back in. Now, you want these guys on the ball. You want them guys in space. You use your Patrick Dorgus and your Mazraouis as decoys to make space for your more talented offensive players. Now, what his system is doing is your talented offensive players are finding themselves stifled in the centre, and they are having to offload to the poorer guys that are out wide and are simply not good enough or not comfortable. They don't look comfortable, Alex. I saw it, and it was not arrogance. When I turned to you and Patrick Dorgu turned on his right, and he had space, he had time, and I was like, not bothered. Because I didn't have any confidence in him. And do you know why? Because he didn't even look confident in himself. And that is the problem, bro.
You're so right, Christian. I mean, I feel for Patrick Dorgu, and obviously you got people like me yelling at him for not crossing. The guy, he's a 20-year-old left back from Lecce, and the whole attack is flowing through Patrick Dorgu. You said it perfectly. Teams, look, Guardiola isn't going to be over the moon that he didn't have more of the ball, but it got to the point on Sunday where he's like, you know what? Collapse the middle of the pitch onto Sesko and Buemo, and if Bruno's up there, include him as well. Leave them two out wide, Mazraoui and Dorgu, and I will bet a large amount of money they won't put in a decent ball for Mbuemo or Sesko. Think of the chances. Mbuemo, a friggin' volley coming over his shoulder from Patrick Dorgu's right-footed cross. These are the chances we're creating. Last minute, Ahmad got to the byline and hammered one across the face of goal. But that's only because Ahmad went to right wing-back, because we have Mazraoui stinking it up there all game. As soon as Ahmad went there, you said it perfectly. If Ahmad was at right wing-back for the full game, United probably would have scored at least one. We should have got one at the end with the tap-in that Mbuemo missed. But the point is, Ruben Amorim's system is based on people who aren't good offensively being good offensively. It's so flawed. I can't stress it enough.
Like you said as well, when people are saying about what this formation is, Ruben Amorim isn't even true to his own philosophy to begin with. Because how many times do you see he's flirted with Ahmad in that position, but he clearly doesn't fancy it? Do you know what I mean? We all know that. He knows that. So then what he will go with in most matches, in terms of when you think the opponent can punch back and lay one on you, he's going to go Dallo every time. So then you've got Dallo and you've got Dorgu, who are going to be the players that are on the ball the most and are going to have to do the most damage to the opponents because they're the players in space. They're the men over. And it's like, surely he doesn't even believe that can work. I think the thing is, for me, Alex, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. So, for me, with Amorim, it's a strange one, because he's choosing right now to die on his sword in terms of he will simply not change this system.
Yeah.
Now, I think, from his point of view, he's coming at this with an angle of, he thinks it makes him look better, because it shows to other clubs and potential suitors that, no, I have my way, and this will work. And he thinks he's doing him favours. Mate, I think he's doing the complete opposite. Because have you ever seen a top manager, Alex, of a top club in the Premier League or even in Europe that simply say, I am this one-dimensional and I have no other idea. I have no flexibility to the way I manage football games. This is it. It will either work or it won't.
No, Christian, you're so right. It's a brilliant question. And the answer to that is I would be floored if any top team looks at Ruben Amorim again after this tenure. Obviously, you're going under the radar at Portugal. In the Portuguese league for Sporting Lisbon, we had a Sporting fan comment on one of my TikToks and said that this is who he is. He did not change the formation at Sporting. By the way, for people who think he's the second coming of Jesus, he isn't. He won 2 league titles in 4 years at Sporting. The Lisbon fans were not happy some of those seasons. So please don't start don't be getting this mixed up that like this is he's won 4 out of 4 leagues in Portugal. He didn't. But yeah, look, Christian, my biggest things here, right? You've got telling the world your setup. Think about going into games. There's usually a little facet of a game, a starting lineup, for example, that you look at your opposition and you're not overly sure about. I could pick you City's team usually, but I still wasn't certain. Was Bernardo going to be the 10 and Foden on the right? Was Doku going to drift in like he did fantastically well on Sunday? There's these little things. This 3-4-3, mate. It's 5 in a line. It's 2 in front and it's 3 up front. They don't even swap positions. It's unbelievably shit. You're telling the world. Pep Guardiola can put that team sheet, and to be honest, it doesn't matter the personnel. He can put them counters on the wall for Man United. He could have put them up a year ago because he's told the world he's never changing. There's no guesswork with this, so that's one thing. And the other thing is this not changing something that's failing. It's I'm actually really angry about this. And I want to talk about, firstly, I want to prime what I'm about to say here with the fans of Man United and how are you supporting of this negligence that a guy can willingly send a team out to lose every week for this great club. The away fans on Sunday, you can hit me up in the comments and slag me off for watching the game at home. They paid the ticket, fine. Singing this guy's name. If there's anybody, appreciate it might be a long shot, if there's anybody watching this video at this point and you was in the away end singing Ruben Amorim's name on Sunday, hit us up in the comments, please. I'd love to get you on the show, and I'd love to have not having a go here, I'd love to have a conversation with you, and I'd love to get your opinion on why you're stood there singing this guy's name. He is sending people out. He's choosing his ego over the fans, over the club. He cares about himself. That's all he cares about, this manager. He's selfish. His negligence, his ego, and this system. It's all it's about now. It's actually gone past winning and losing games. He just cares about himself. And if he looks in the mirror and goes, you know what, I never changed for anyone, that's all he cares about. And for him to say he's hurting as well, you're not hurting, because us fans are hurting. I'm hurting watching this system every week get undone simply with, we spoke about it, wingbacks who can't attack, midfielders who are outnumbered, and a back three who don't know whether they're coming or going. It's simple maths, and we have to sit there. And I've got United fans in the comments on our TikTok, Christian, and in our YouTube comments saying, no, trust the system. No. What are you watching? Singing his name on Sunday?
Yeah. Alex, there was just a question I have for you, and it very much assists what you're saying here. So, now, if Pep Guardiola was not the Manchester City manager and he just came in now, right, and he started this season, and if he said, I want Shirky and Foden in a flat 3 with Rodri in behind. Now, we go into the first, 5-6 matches, we get drilled every single game. Now, do you think Pep Guardiola, a year on, I would still be sat there going, he needs to change this. We are getting overrun every single week. It just keeps going wrong. Surely he's seeing it. And Pep's coming out going, no, this is the way I'm going to play. Like it or lump it. Not bothered. Now, I would not be backing that. And even Pep Guardiola and what he'd done before he even came to Manchester City, I would not be backing that. That is just blind arrogance. And all he's doing is looking out for himself going forward. The top managers, Alex, they may have their ideas on what they want to do. Like I said, Pep has had a lot of ideas since coming to Manchester City. Not all of them have worked. A lot of them have not, to be fair. But do you know what makes a top manager? It's recognising it, fixing it, going forward, and then they implement their new style, which does eventually work. Now, what he is doing is going, this one isn't working. Now, I'm just going to blame the players I have got because they can't play the system I want until I get the players I can get. Well, bro, how much money do you want to spend there? How much money do you need?
You know what? It's gross misconduct in any profession. If you're line manager in whatever you do, you're watching this. I don't know what job you might do. If you're not performing at work, and they say, "Look, right, we'll give you another 3 months, but you need to change your attitude. You need to change your approach at your job," and they go, "No," you get sacked. You'll get sacked, and I'm sure he should have gone already.
He's obviously going to get sacked. Just about this, I do agree with you, by the way, but. About this, I've seen a few fan channels and they're asking this question, and I wanted to put it to you. I'm interested to hear your answer. So, with Ruben Amorim, the way he's going and how much he is hammering this system and refuses to change, do you think he actually wants to get sacked at this point?
I think there's definitely truth in it that he's refusing to change it in case it's good. That's the only sense I can make, because it's just common sense, isn't it? Like if you're struggling for performances and results, you try different things. Like it's even the most stubborn coaches. You said it. If I have to watch Pep Guardiola and Sir Alex Ferguson change their approach to win a Champions League, which both of them did, by the way, we won't go into it in too much detail, but if I have to watch Fergie bin his 4-4-2 when he won a treble with it in '99, and this guy thinks he's won 2 Portuguese titles and he's immune from having to change, mate, get gone. Seriously, he's actually irritating me. And I think another thing as well is I want to talk about Christian is just on the fan base and this. There's a general thing with United, and we're the worst. Not me, and look, there's some fantastic United fans out there who have standards like myself, and we care about this club. Even though, ironically, we get told we don't support the club for wanting a awful manager to get sacked. However, I want to talk about these people, Christian, who go, we can't keep sacking managers. This is a brilliant one. I absolutely love this. We can't keep sacking managers. Here's the irony of it, right? Post-Ferguson, when we've had a good season, it's come off the back of sacking a manager. So you're actually completely wrong with this, because when we sacked Moyes, Van Gaal came in and got 4th, then he got 5th, then he won an FA Cup. When Van Gaal got sacked, Jose came 6th, won a Carabao, won a Europa, and came 2nd. When Jose got sacked, Ollie came 3rd, then he came 2nd. When Ollie got sacked, Ten Hag came 3rd, and he won 2 trophies. So what does that tell you? So you're sat there going, don't sack this awful coach who's got us on pace for relegation because we can't keep sacking managers, when in reality, sacking coaches post-Fergie has given us a boost. Do you know the only one it's not given us a boost on? Sacking Ten Hag and bringing in Amorim. That's the only one. Every single other one has given United a boost, and we've had a good season. I've just read them all out there. So it just, if you're
it's a great point.
Going, we can't sack managers, it's not what Man United do. Well, I tell you what, were you celebrating when Jose won 2 trophies? Were you celebrating when Ten Hag won 2 trophies? When Ollie gave us some good football and came 3rd and 2nd? Because they came on the back of a sacking.
Yeah.
Do you get me, Christian?
No, 100%. I think...
I
think there's more to it as well. I just wanted to ask you, I said in tongue-in-cheek a couple of times last year, United could go down, and I think other people were doing it as well.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, I am looking at this and some of your performances, and against the calibre of teams you're having these performances against, like that Burnley game, and I'm thinking, right, are they actually in a relegation battle? No banter aside. Under this manager with this system?
I mean, you can see it on the thumbnail. Anybody that's clicked it, firstly, thank you. Thank you for listening. We've got 31 points in 31 games, Christian. He is on pace for 38 points over a 38-game season. We did it the other week. Teams have been relegated for more than 38 points. So, in answer to your question, if this guy got a full season, I have no doubt in my mind we would be around the 40-point mark. His wins, they're all against your Leicesters, your Ipswich, your Southampton, your Burnley, like you just mentioned. Yeah. None of them. It's your classic. We are rubbish. We're scraping wins against the real top.
We're just slightly better than the teams that are absolutely horrendous.
So of course you're right, Christian. Another one that we get in the comments and all the regular people, I might try and put a couple on the screen for people to see, because I get a lot of comments on my TikTok. People going, and obviously I've been doing the swap Shaw out and bring Mainu in argument, which to me and anybody with a brain, it's a simple fix to sort this system out.
Yeah.
And I get comments in there going, what's the point in playing 4 at the back? It's been shit post-Fergie before at the back. Well, again, should we just run through some facts? Because post-Ferguson, this thing, I think there's a narrative around this post-Fergie era that it's always been shit. I just want to give some facts here. We've played 4 at the back pretty much, other than the odd game of Ollie played 1 or 2. Jose played a couple. And I think Van Gaal went through a period of 5 at the back. It's been 4 at the back post-Ferguson. 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3. So post-Fergie, we've had 11 seasons up until the appointment of Ruben Amorim, Christian. We have come first 0 times. We've come second twice. We've come third twice. We've come 4th once. We've come 5th once. We have come in the top 5 6 times out of 11 post-Fergie with a 4 at the back. Do you want to know what Amorim's record is? He came 15th. We're currently 14th, and we were a last-minute penalty against Burnley from being in the relegation zone right now. That's what a back five of Ruben Amorim says. But a four at the back, you're not happy with that. You're saying it's always been shit. Well, I don't remember being bottom half. To be honest, Christian, we've only come outside the top six twice post Fergie before Amorim.
And trophies won as well.
And the trophies won, we've not even mentioned them. But
the thing
Christian,
is, Alex, with Kobbie Mainoo not playing in this side, now I just think it's stupidity backed with arrogance, more Ruben Amorim arrogance that he's saying this lad.
Well,
there's a feeling. I mean, I heard a few things in the week from different journalists, and apparently there's a feeling from the Kobbie Mainoo camp that Ruben Amorim doesn't actually back him at all, doesn't appreciate him as a footballer. Now, what does that tell you? What honestly does that tell you?
I've got a real issue with this because Bruno Fernandes has been one of our worst performers this season. Not all his fault. He's in a two-man midfield and he's a number 10. He's used to playing in front of Fred and McTominay, and now he's playing next to one player, be it Ugarte at the weekend. It's been more Casemiro. It's definitely not Mainoo. And what has Ruben Amorim said post-game? He has said, Kobbie Mainoo is up against Bruno Fernandes in the centre midfield area. Do you want to know where this agenda is absolutely stinking? Is that Bruno Fernandes has been worse than Mainoo, and Mainoo's getting 10-minute pockets here and there in games, including Sunday, by the way. Kobbie Mainoo came on and made things happen.
His cameo was very good, yeah.
And you know what as well? This, again, smoke and mirrors bullshit from Ruben Amorim. Kobbie Mainoo is no slouch. He can get about the pitch. Yeah. He won as many tackles on Sunday as Ugarte did. So I don't know where this thing of Kobbie Mainoo's this absolute 540 boss who can't turn. Mate, Kobbie Mainoo can cover ground. Is he Kante? No. Who is Kante?
If you look at the attributes for what he needs in his team right now, and the players that he's currently playing there, whether that be Casemiro, whether that be Ugarte, whether it be Bruno. Now, in terms of what he needs defensively, Kobbie Mainoo is better than all three because the thing is, if he goes with the others, they don't have energy. In terms of going forward, I'd say Kobbie is better. Bruno, yes, will have his moments, but I'm appreciative of how good he is on the ball. I mean, we saw his cameo at City.
Can I just jump in there on that comment, Christian?
You
mentioned there about Bruno Mainoo. You're right. The issue with the two-man midfield is Bruno can't carry the ball. He can't dribble. So Bruno is restricted to just punt. Kobbie Mainoo can carry the ball. When he megged someone on Sunday, drove it forward, yes, again, it was Patrick Dorgu who was the spare man. Kobbie Mainoo carried it 40 yards. When's the last time you saw Bruno Fernandes carry it 40 yards? Because on paper, Bruno is better than Mainoo offensively, but in a two-man midfield, he isn't, because Kobbie can drive with the ball. Yeah. Bruno cannot. Sorry, I interjected there, but yeah.
No, not a problem. No, and you're right, actually, because now he literally has to drive 40 yards, because that's how far he is away from the opposition's goal. That's the position he's being deployed in. Whereas, if he was playing in his actual position, it would suit him more, because we know what Bruno is. He can come up with the odd insane delivery. He can come up with the odd insane strike as well.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm not saying that Kobbie Mainoo playing is going to fit. It might be a little bit better. The system is flawed.
It would. Yeah, that's not what we're saying. Anyone taking from this that I'm saying bring Kobbie in, take Ugarte, take Bruno out, here's Casemiro. It doesn't matter. It still doesn't work. I'd go as far as saying, Alex, if you'd gone and signed Belieber, I almost wish you had. Because that would have been, I tell you what, that would have showed him up for how shit he is. Because do you know what he'd have done, Alex, if he'd have got Belieber in? He'd have played Belieber and Bruno.
Yeah, well, of course he would.
Because he's already told you that, because he's saying Kobbie has got to go up against Bruno. It's just fucking madness.
So not bringing Kobbie in when Bruno's playing bad, and Bruno doesn't get subbed either. It's the agenda. The agenda stinks. This manager stinks. The system stinks. Let's just talk about quickly the issues around it and people defending this system. Do you know the only time this system worked really well? Let me tell you Antonio Conte's system that he won the Premier League with. So in 2017, Chelsea won the Prem. Antonio Conte was the manager. Antonio Conte plays 3-4-3. Do you want to know who the two midfielders were? It was N'Golo Kante and Nemanja Matic. Do you want to know who the wingbacks were? It was Victor Moses and Marcus Alonso, who could go both ways and were very good offensively. Yeah. Alonso could cross. Moses could cross. Alonso could shoot. Alonso took free kicks. And by the way, he had Diego Costa and Eden Hazard up front, who you might remember being quite good also. So what have we got? Let's compare it. Kante and Matic versus Bruno and Ugarte. Just ridiculous. Alonso versus Dorgu. Ridiculous. Victor Moses against Mizraoui. I mean, that might be the worst one. And I'm not even saying Victor Moses was moving mountains, Christian.
Yeah.
Look, just compare it to what we've seen as a... And let's be honest, Christian, you said it a few weeks ago on the pod. That 3-4-3 of Conte Came back the next year. Hazard dropped off a little bit. Matic got dropped off a little bit. Did we sign Matic? As soon as Matic went to United, what happens at 3-4-3? Got binned because they couldn't do it, even with Conte.
Mate, yeah, I agree. No, you made great points. I think the thing is, I said it the other day, if you're going to go with this system, there's a very select few you can actually go with. And to choose to do it at where Man United are currently at is madness. And then on top of that, to play the certain players that he is putting out in their wrong positions, that's even more madness. Like you said, there becomes a point where it's like, is this just negligence at this point? I mean, if you're watching, let's just boil this down, like you said. If something is going wrong, no matter in football, in any part of your life, do you continue doing the same thing that's causing it to go wrong? Or do you maybe just try and change it?
Mate,
I'm sorry, you can simplify this down to any part of your life. For me, it's just nonsense. I don't know why anyone's backing it. And the thing is, you said, Alex, you could get someone on, an Amorim fan or someone that says they think he's the right man for the job. Do you know what their argument would eventually go down to? It would be, he's the manager, we need to support him. There would be no actual evidence as to why they think that, other than he was the man Manchester United picked and they paid to get him out of Sporting when he didn't even want to join till the summer. So it's like, no, we just have to support him. You don't have to support anything. If you don't think something's working and you think a guy is pretty much negligent in his position, then call it out. You don't need to back that. Right. He's not Manchester United. You're the Manchester United supporters.
He will be long gone. Yeah, he will be forgotten the day he leaves this club, and I hope it's very soon. I don't know what that looks like. We'll try and talk about it before we wrap up, Christian. But I just want to say a quote from one of our fans who tunes into every single watch along, watches all our pods, Mr. Halation. So shout out to you if you're listening to this. And he made an all-time great comment on the Ruben Amorim blind witnesses against the guys who actually see what they see with their own eyes and make their own judgment, like me. The Ruben Amorim defence blind witnesses, everything they base it on is based on hypotheticals. People who think Ruben Amorim should go, is basing it on facts. Yeah, we're basing it on our 31 points in 31 games. And that's the difference. And if you are, there's nothing, you just said it perfectly, there's nothing to hang your hat on with Ruben Amorim. And look, Christian, this is not going to get any better. The team is structurally flawed. Like I said, Mainu in for Bruno. It might improve stretches of games. I don't see the results changing, to be honest. And I said it on the prediction, the TikTok predictions we did at the beginning of the season. I said, if Bruno Fernandes plays midfield 2, Manchester United will come 12th.
Yeah, you fight a losing battle.
I hope that doesn't happen because I want United to have a good season. I think there's time. I think there's options out there. We need to trigger it, and there's an international break coming up. It feels like the 3 games to save his job has already been put out there. Why that isn't just, if you're there, you're sacked, right? It's like your relationship's dying, and it's like, we'll go on an holiday to see if we can save it. You're already broke up, just accept it. Do you know what I'm saying? Christian, just want to do one more thing before we wrap up. And obviously, I want to get everyone's thoughts in the comments about Ruben Amorim, the system, everything me and my brother have spoke about. I want to talk just a little bit of fun, right? Because I was thinking about this the other day. And I was just thinking about the 3-4-3 and Ruben Amorim and sort of what it would look like if Ruben Amorim was in charge of some all-time great teams. So I've picked 3 teams. You're going to be very aware of definitely one of them. You will be aware of all 3 of them. Anybody who's watched football will. So United 2007-08, Barca 2010-11, Manchester City 2017-18. Let's start with Manchester United 07-08. They set up with Hargreaves, Carrick, Scholes, Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo. If Ruben Amorim was in charge of that team, is Paul Scholes missing out for an extra centre-back? I think he is. Should we do Barca 2011, one of the, if not the greatest club sides in history? Barca 2011 set up with Iniesta, Busquets, Xavi, Villa, Messi and Pedro. Is Andres Iniesta missing out for an extra centre-back? Should we do City for the last one, the cherry on top of the cake? This one's going to piss you off. De Bruyne, Fernandinho, David Silva in the midfield, Sane, Aguero, Sterling were up front. is David Silva missing out for an extra centre-back. And before people come for me on this and go, it's different teams and different squads, you know what's happening right now? Luke Shaw's playing over Kobbie Mainoo, so I'm right. Exactly what I just said there. Would Paul Scholes have missed out for John O'Shea in 2008? No, he wouldn't. Do you even want to think about dropping Andres Iniesta for a centre-back or David Silva? No, you don't. What do you think about that, Christian?
Alex, the crazy thing is, right, when you said the Barcelona one, I was thinking, you know what, he probably wouldn't even do Iniesta because he'd prefer to go more out of position, so he'd drop Xavi and put Iniesta in the centre and watch him go.
Yeah, facts, man. That's the thing, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, he'll leave Hargreaves out, won't he?
Mate, honestly,
keep Scholes in.
You couldn't say it better. I think Ruben Amorim, I think he's a dead man walking. I think he knows it. I think even his biggest Amorim in supporters know it. I just wonder when they're gonna pull the trigger, Alex, because if they don't soon, they're gonna find their season is absolutely cooked before it's begun. I really think they're gonna have to act fast.
It's probably a good segue into the final thing I wanted to speak to you about, Christian, is the 3 games to save his job. I'm that disconnected at the minute. I can't even tell you the third game. It might be Sunderland. I'm not sure. The next 2 is Chelsea at home on Saturday, and then we've got Brentford, which we're doing a watch along with our cousin Patrick, which we cannot wait for. And then I think it might be Sunderland. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really bothered. We're going to struggle, whoever it is. What is saving his job, Christian? Because normally when this has come out with Ollie, when this has come out with Ten Hag, it means wins. You've got to go on a run now. You've got to win 3 out of 4. You've got to win 4 out of 5.
He's not won 2 in a row yet, has he?
Does 1 win out of 3 save him? Because that's what Ineos have told me is acceptable. So when you go, Ruben Amorim's got 3 games to save his job. What, has he just got to beat Brentford and lose to the other 2? Because that's what you've told me since November, that apparently 1 point a game is acceptable. So, is that what you're saying? He's just got to win 1 out of the next 3 to save his job, or has he got to win?
Alex, it could be even less. It could be the old famous thing of it's not about the results or the points. It's about how we play in them games. Well, no, football is based on results. We judge winning trophies off results. So it is about results. You've got to get the results on the pitch, and currently he can't do it. Alex, if you look at who you're going to play, I'll tell you what, I'd go as far as saying, if Manchester United, if me and my bro do a watch-along on a weekend, and if I look you're playing someone above 15th in the league, I would think they're going to either get a point or beat you under Amorim. I really do. And I would completely switch up the moment someone else comes in, and they go 4-3-3, and Kobbie Mainoo starts playing, and players are in their actual positions, and suddenly Bruno looks a little bit better because he's in his natural position. Then I would go, no, of course, they would be, a team at 14th, 13th in the league. Currently, no way would I be saying that.
You're so right, Christian. You stop the bleeding. You stop the bleeding in anything, in any sport. Any people who watch, I mainly watch basketball and football. I'm sure people watch other sports around the world. It's the same principle of, if your team is going on a run, time out, we change things, we put somebody else in. In basketball, we'll put an extra big man in to get the rebounds. Stop the bleeding. We're getting battered. What do? We just run it back every single week. We've been doing it since November. This manager doesn't give a shit. He cares about his ego, Christian. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what he's got to do to get sacked, because if this board, it's got to be... This is a bigger issue, and this is one for another day, Christian, but I'm telling you right now, if this board think that 3 games to save his job is acceptable, I hope it's more they don't want to pay him off, because they must know this is dead. This is the deadest dead man walking in football history, and I hope he never gets another job. I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't wish it on my worst nightmare. I wouldn't even want him to go to City. I wouldn't. I would not.
You wouldn't want to see your brother go through, would you?
I wouldn't. I actually, you know what? Because I'm a football fan at core, and what me and other fans are sitting through weekly, I think it's unacceptable. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that we're sat there going, can we just see something else? It might be better for us. 75,000, the irony is they sing his name, so he probably thinks, fuck him. He's like, well, Ruben Amorim will bring the glory days again.
Yeah,
they're
daft enough to agree, yeah. And the thing is, Alex, I just wanted to say this just before we cut off. So a lot of these fans, they're saying, these players have down tools for other managers. It's, we've got bad apples in the team. Well, for one, he's got rid of the ones he said were bad apples. You've moved them on, apparently. And not only that, mate, let's be honest. Who's been the guy that's actually been throwing people under the bus? Has it been the players at any point? Or has it been Ruben Amorim that's consistently come out after games
Yeah, nah, great point. And just to wrap up on that, yeah, for him to come out and criticise the mentality of this team is unacceptable. The same guy that's cowering away at penalty
Well, it is
shootout
when
at
you
Grimsby. Um,
it is when you're
it's
playing them in the positions they can't play in. Alex, that's even more ludicrous.
it's
Blaming
great.
someone for not being able to do something that they've never been able to do in their career.
I do
Well, you're the
wonder. I
one
mean,
that's fucking brain dead.
honestly, I know this is mental, but I'm actually getting to the point now where, look, anybody that's played in a footy team at any level, Saturday, Sunday league, shout out if you have, even a five-side team, you've got a WhatsApp group. I'm wondering how far away we are from these players just going, you know what, let's just go out on Sunday and line up four at the back and just see what happens. He can't sub all 11 of us. I know this is the most mental thing I've ever thought about professional football in my life. I do wonder how close the team are to just thinking, you know what, fuck you and your ego and your 3-4-3 obsession. We're going to line up with the best what we think on the pitch, and we think we might get a result because you're out there saying we've got weak mentalities, and we're coming into training going, I cannot play centre mid in a 2. He cannot cross the ball from the left wing. He cannot cross the ball from the right wing. The back three are lost. We don't know what we're doing. And to top it off, we've got a goalkeeper who can't stop anything. So, at what point do the players just go, fuck him? We'll go out there. We'll say, yeah, we'll play your system, mate. As soon as we get on the pitch, right, 4 at the back. But we got Bruno. Fuck me, he wouldn't dare, would he?
Alex, I agree with you. At the end of the day, if Ruben Amorim came into my club and he went to Phil Foden, PFA Player of the Season in his history, and he's used to being, getting plaudits for how incredible he's been in the past, and Ruben Amorim goes, right, you're playing in a midfield too. And he's like, what, so you mean I'm going to be like in my own half, like defending quite a lot? Like, I can't do that. No, that's what you're going to be doing. So then he's getting absolutely tortured online because people are like, oh my God, he's blundered another one. Jesus Christ. How long would he put up with it? He wouldn't. He'd go. He'd fuck off. And this is the thing, Alex. A lot of the players have either wanted to leave or they're currently stuck there and they're out of position and they don't know what to do. And they look lost on the pitch. They really do. Honestly, with United players, I have been one of the biggest critics of them and their attitudes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that... I'm not going to sit here right now and say they're perfect because they're really not. I still think some are questionable, but not in terms of performing, doing their duties on the pitch. My bigger problem, is Bruno, for instance, not acting like a captain.
Yeah.
But in terms of does he act like a professional and goes out on the pitch and he does what the manager's asked him? Yes, he does. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can be calling these guys out like that.
You can have your frustrations and look, we're all human at the end of the day. If Patrick Dorgu balls us up across when he's wide open on the left, I'm going to be upset. I'm a fan. I want him to cross it to Sesko and Mbeumo and United score. It's simple facts. If Bruno Fernandes is not picking up his runners like Emil Smith-Rowe and Phil Foden and costing us goals and games, am I going to be annoyed? Yes. But I'm looking at the Portuguese genius on the bench, who is basically the architect behind all this downfall that we're watching. And look, please, if you've got to the end of the video and you are, one, either going to games singing this guy's name, or better yet, you just still blindly support him, please hit us up in the comments. There's room for you on this podcast, man. I really am just intrigued, particularly if you're in that away end singing his name on Sunday. I find that incredible. And I heard you on telly, so I know there's people out there who were unbelievable. Christian, thank you for running through that. Obviously, congrats on the Derby win. Rest in peace to Ricky Hatton as well. I know he would have loved that game, unfortunately. So shout out to the Hitman, man. Absolutely heartbreaking news as well. So, look, that's it for United for now. We've got Chelsea at the weekend, and then we've got a Brentford the weekend after. We'll be on here doing watch-alongs. If you've recently subbed to the channel, we had quite a good few come in from the watch-along at the weekend. Join us again. We absolutely love to have you in the comments, whether you're Amorim in or Amorim out. It's always a conversation and a good debate. So thank you all for listening. Christian, as always, my friend, thank you for joining us. And we'll catch you on the next one.